break time now. It is becoming more and more difficult for me, this break time. You see, you were with me in the material science course, now we are with me in the manufacturing course. If it was a new course, you were not with me, then I could use some of the older ones. But to keep on thinking several times a week. Okay, so there is this cemetery where graves are there in England and Scotland somewhere. And there is this grave and there is a headstone on which it is written M. Edwards, born 1960 something, died 2001, this, that, whatever. And a senior person, maybe 50 years, 55 years old and so on, in a very nice suit and so forth. He is sitting in front of the grave, in front of the headstone, on the grass, and he looks very sad, and one or two even drops of tears are coming down. Oh, why did you have to die? Oh, why could you have not lived longer? Oh, why did you leave all of us together, here? Since you have died, my life has become hell. Now it is so difficult, and increasingly every day it is becoming more and more difficult for me to live. Oh, why did you leave us? Oh, why could you not have been with us for a few years more? Two young guys are passing, and then they are saying how much he loves his wife and so on. He said, hey, you must love your wife very much. You are so sad at her going. Oh, no. This grave is not my wife's. It is my wife's first husband. Break over. Okay, so when there is a cylindrical workpiece and you are doing forging, then this is the pressure, Y is the flow stress, mu is the coefficient of friction, R is the radius of the cylindrical piece, H is the height or the thickness, and X is the location at which you want to find the stress. Again, if you want to find the average pressure, because remember that pressure at different values of X is different, and for calculations and so on you need a single value, so average pressure. So this is roughly equal to Y, 1 plus 2 mu R upon 3H. You again knew mu, R and H. And of course when mu is there, it automatically means that there is considerable friction, significant friction between the die and the workpiece material. And if this is the average force and so on, average pressure, then the force is P average into pi R square, right? It is a cylindrical piece. So the area is a circular area, pi R square. So this will be the forging force. So you have done now both the things, that if your original workpiece is a rectangular cross section, then you have the equations, you know how to do the derivations, but more importantly, the average pressure and the forging force. And if you have a cylindrical or round piece on which you are doing the forging, then again, what is the general pressure equation, the derivation, but more importantly, the average pressure equation and the forging force equation, right? So this you have done. A sticking condition. You see, this is a very famous word in friction. You see, there is friction. If you are applying a force of friction, right? Applying a force, friction is there, but things are still moving. So that is called sliding friction. But if the motion is stopped, you can't, the friction force is so high that you can't slide anymore, then you say a sticking condition. So a sticking means very high friction. You see, the friction is of course there. You are trying to press with the upper die of the forge, and the material is trying to flow out, isn't it? That is why the thickness of the material is increasing. So if the material is easily flowing, then the friction is there, but the force applied is more than the friction force, and it is sliding friction. But if in the case of barreling, that the material which is not in contact with the die is flowing, but the material which is in contact with the die is totally stuck, then it is called a sticking condition, right? So normal stress distribution for sticking friction in plane strain. If I forgot to tell you, then when we had that rectangular piece, and we were doing the derivation, then we were doing the derivation based on a 2D view, 2D, not a 3D. The real thing is a 3D, right? So that 2D is there because conditions for plane strain are satisfied. Right? The piece is a rectangular piece and the actual diagram is a 3D force diagram, but we assume that a 2D force diagram is enough for our calculations. That assumption is valid if the condition of plane strain is satisfied. So when it was the 2D case, then it was a plane strain case. In that case, if there was very high friction, then this will be the equation. P is equal to y bar 1 plus a minus x upon h. Right? This will be the equation if a sticking condition is there, if the friction is very high. So friction is so high that we have to remove the friction coefficient from the equation because now no movement is there. Similarly, normal stress distribution for sticking friction with cylindrical specimen, y 1 plus r minus x upon h. Very similar equations, very similar, right? A minus x, r minus x. The rest of the equation is the same. Here it is y dash, here it is y. I have not still told you the difference between y and y dash. We will talk of that very soon. Right? So if the friction is too high, then we use these equations. Otherwise, we use the previous equations. Now, you have done a full course on material science and statics and solid mechanics and so on. So plane strain should be very clear to you. Plane stress, plane strain, you know this plane, P-L-A-N-E, plane, means that you are on a 2D, right? XY plane, not XYZ 3D, XY plane, YZ plane. So plane strain means only two strains are important. The third strain exists, but the third strain is very small compared to the other two. Suppose epsilon x and epsilon y are some value. Epsilon z is there, but it is so small compared to epsilon x and epsilon y that even if you neglect it, even if you take it approximately equal to 0, then your results are 98-99% right. And of course, the mathematics of doing a 2D problem is very simple compared to doing the mathematics of 3D problem. Similarly, in simulation, when you are doing actual computer simulation, if you are doing a 2D simulation, then the time taken by the computer, the computational time, is much smaller than for a 3D problem. So for a 3D problem, same problem you will solve after 1 hour, and a 2D problem you may solve after 2-3 minutes. So if you can justify using a 2D solution with very little error, then that is what we always do. So plane strain means that the third strain, which is actually there, but it is very small compared to the other two strain. So when we were doing the rectangular piece in forging, then we had to take the plane strain assumption. Now this is a variation of die pressure. Here is the average pressure, again divided by y bar, y dash, and here is the 2a divided by h. So this is also non-dimensional, this is also non-dimensional, right? And they say A, plane strain compression, and B, compression of a solid cylindrical specimen. So this is the rectangular piece and this is the cylindrical piece, right? So as the thickness, width, call it whatever, as the 2a increases of the plate or the slab, right, then we have higher pressure, and this pressure variation for different values of friction. 0.05, very low friction, then higher friction of 0.1, then higher friction of 0.2, and this last one, which is a straight line, is sticking friction. As long as actual friction was there, this was a curve, but when it is sticking friction, then friction has gone out of it, and then if you plot the equation, then it becomes a straight line. So this brown line is the sticking friction line, and these are different values of friction. Similarly, the average pressure variation in the cylindrical specimen, right? Cylindrical specimen, 0.02 friction, 0.05, 0.1, right? 0.15, 0.2, 0.3, and then this is straight line of sticking friction. And here are the values, again divided by y. So at any point you can find the value, and later on you can multiply it by y dash so that you find the actual average pressure. But by doing this non-dimensional version, the equation, the calculation, everything is simpler. So this is the variation of die pressure, right? And so on, in case of varying amounts of friction. This is another distribution, right? Distribution of the dimensionless die pressure, dimensionless die pressure in compressing a rectangular specimen in plane strain, but under sticking conditions, So it is the same diagram that we showed earlier, but there was some friction, and now the friction is so high that it is sticking. So if you see, this pressure variation is a straight line now. It was a curve, remember, it was a curve. So when the same thing was there, that you have a rectangular piece and you are seeing the pressure variation from the center of the piece to the end. The total width or thickness is 2a and the height is same thing. But because it is sticking conditions, so the variation is a straight line this time. The variation is a straight line, otherwise this variation was there. And the maximum will be here, right? The maximum pressure will be in the center of the plate, and the minimum pressure will be at the end of the plate. But we will take an average of the pressure if we want to do the actual calculations and so on, right? So this is the same diagram that we did earlier, but now in the sticking condition. Sticking condition means that the friction is so high that it completely sticks the material to the die. Now I have added this. It is not part of the book, but I want you to really seriously understand it. Flow stress under different conditions, right? Normally, as I told you, the stress equation is sigma is equal to k epsilon n. Sigma is equal to k epsilon n, which is the plastic stress. A stress strain equation in the plastic region. Here, in all bulk deformation, they are calling this plastic stress as the flow stress, that whether it is forging or extrusion or rolling, when the stress is in the plastic region, the material starts to flow and takes the shape of the die. So they are calling it flow stress and symbolizing it by capital Y. So let us read. Yield stress Y is used when material can be reasonably assumed to be perfectly plastic. If there is a material for which, if this is your stress strain diagram, yeah, you are going like this, you reach the yield stress and then it becomes constant, right? That there is no increase in stress, material keeps on deforming at yield stress. So this is called perfectly plastic material. Again, in your material science, if you were with me, then I always try to explain to you that this is the elastic region, this is the elastic perfectly plastic behavior, this is the elastic linear strain hardening, this is the elastic non-linear strain hardening. So perfectly plastic means that we assume that the material, once it reaches the plastic state, the yield stress, then the stress does not increase. Just at that stress, it keeps on increasing the deformation. So in that case, Y is the Y. The flow stress is just the yield stress. If the material is a strain hardening, normal strain hardening material, the equation is sigma is equal to k epsilon n. The material is sigma is equal to k epsilon n. But in this book, instead of sigma, we will use Y, YF, flow stress. The value of flow stress at a given strain, right? The stress strain diagram is there. At any strain, what is the stress? That is the flow stress. So when we are in the strain hardening region and we know the value of strain is given, then find the stress at that strain. It is the flow stress, and that is the Y or the YF.